A new article from Variety featuring John Boyega has dropped. And if you're reading that, yes, those are actually his words. And you want to know what's sad about the IP, the Star Wars IP? Not only is it just on life support at this point, but anytime there's an article written, anytime someone has something to say about Star Wars, it's always connected to toxic fans. You're a phobe. You don't like this. You don't like these type of people. You don't like that type of people. You don't like it's just, you're a bad person if you don't like the product. Like, let me just sum it up. You are a bad person if you don't like the product. Anytime anyone talks about Star Wars, but now we're going to talk about John Boyega because he had some choice words about the fandom in a recent interview. And before we get into that, could you do me a huge favor and please hit the subscribe button? It's a free thing that you could do that helps out the channel. And I want to hear what you guys have to say. You might be like, Jay, you're reading this all wrong. You're reading it all wrong. That's not what he's talking about here. Let me correct you. Please correct me in the comments. I would love to hear what you all have to say. Now let's get into it. John Boyega says Star Wars is so white that a black person existing in it is a big deal. Toxic fans are okay with us playing the friend, but we can't touch their heroes. John Boyega called out Star Wars for being so white during an interview as part of the new Apple TV original documentary, #1 on the call sheet, Black Leading Men in Hollywood. Boyega debuted as Finn in Star Wars The Force Awakens and reprised the character in The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker. His role in the sequel trilogy led to online harassment from racist and toxic Star Wars fans upset with a black actor playing a lead hero in the space franchise. John says this, let me tell you, Star Wars has always had the vibe of being in the most whitest elite space. It's a franchise that's so white that a black person existing in it was something. Boyega said in the documentary, you can always tell it's something when some Star Wars fans try to say, well, we had Lando Calrissian and we had Samuel L. Jackson. It's like telling me how many cookie chips are in the cookie dough. It's like they just scattered them there, bro. Okay, hold on. Did you face online harassment? Probably. And it should be called out. And yes, there are a lot of terrible people out there that will call out anybody for anything, including myself, on the internet. That is the world we live in, sadly. It doesn't matter what race you are. It doesn't matter what. If you put something out there on the internet, people will probably call you out. People will probably say a lot of things that they shouldn't have, and that's just the reality of the world we live in. Second, by saying that Star Wars fans just say, well, we had Lando and Samuel L. Jackson. Okay, Lando Calrissian destroyed the second Death Star. He was very important to the franchise. Also helped rescue Han Solo. Samuel L. Jackson was Mace Windu, the baddest Jedi in the land. Like, the only guy with a purple lightsaber. The guy was the man everybody loved, Mace Windu, and nobody cared what color of skin he had. You also had the voice of Darth Vader, probably the most iconic villain in cinematic history. And his voice, all right, by James Earl Jones. I don't remember anybody having a problem with that. So I'm not sure why you would just say, you know, Lando and Mace Windu were not important. We're just going to bring it up because that's just what toxic Star Wars fans bring up. That doesn't make sense to the argument here. He goes on to say, they're okay with us playing the best friend. But once we touch their heroes, again, Lando Calrissian was a hero. Mace Windu was a hero. Once we lead, once we trailblaze, it's like, oh my gosh, it's just a bit too much. They're pandering, the actor added, while also acknowledging that being cast in the franchise was a fundamental moment in his career. Okay, Let me stop you there, John, real quick, because I was one of these people. I mean, we can go back way early to some of my early live streams somewhere. I wanted Finn to be the lead. As a Star Wars fan, the story of a stormtrooper turning rogue, turning Jedi, is the coolest storyline that we never got. I think if you want to blame people for what they did with your character, you need to blame the writers, director, and Lucasfilm, because they're the ones that shaped your character. They were the ones that took you and Kelly Marie Tran, Rose Tico, which I also loved, by the way, and erased them from the sequel trilogy. They were the ones that took your character and said, we're just going to put you off to the side. It wasn't the fans. We didn't write anything. We we had no power or control, and the movie still made $1 billion plus. And again, I defended you over and over again because Finn was my guy. When I saw you pick up the lightsaber in the teaser trailer, I was like, this is it, man. This is going to be freaking amazing. Stormtrooper turned Jedi, possibly being trained under Luke Skywalker. It was a fantastic, that's a fantastic story that we never got. But what they did to your character was make him into a joke. What they did was Rose Tico was basically erase her from the series. What did she have? Like 30 seconds of screen time in the final film. So I don't know if blaming fans, Star Wars fans that actually like Lando Calrissian and Mace Windu and Darth Vader, in the Star Wars universe, because they had major important roles in the series. I don't know if blaming them is the way to go. I don't think that's it. But again, if you're watching this video, please correct me if I'm wrong. Boyega first aired his grievances to GQ magazine in 2020 about Disney's fumbling of diversity in his Star Wars trilogy. He said at the time, what I would say to Disney is do not bring out a black character, market them to be much more important in the franchise than they are, and then have them pushed to the side. It's not good. I'll say it straight up. Okay, so this was back in 2020, and I agreed with you when this came out. This is where I'm like, you're right. This is exactly what they should not have done. And I don't care what you look like. The story is awesome. Like, what are we doing here? It says you guys knew what to do with Daisy Ridley. You knew what to do with Adam Driver. But when it came to Kelly Marie Tran, this is the same statement that I just said earlier on, where they just sidelined your characters that some people actually enjoyed. He says at the bottom here, I'm not exposing anything. Boyega later revealed to The Hollywood Reporter that a Disney executive reached out to him following his GQ interview. He said he had a very honest, very transparent conversation with the Disney executive and added there was a lot of explaining on their end in terms of the way they saw things. They gave me a chance to also explain what my experience was like. I'd hope that me being so open with my career at this stage would help the next man. The guy wants to be an assistant DOP, the guy that wants to be a producer. I hope that the conversation is not such a taboo or elephant in the room because someone just came out and said that. Again, these are old conversations that he had that are being brought up. Now it appears that he has pivoted from blaming Disney into blaming fans and the fandom, which not good look, man. Like, it just doesn't end well when you do that. Again, not to repeat myself, the fans didn't write the script. Fans didn't direct it. The fans didn't market it. We wanted to see certain things. And to repeat myself yet again, the majority of people that I spoke to wanted to see Finn as the lead. We wanted to see that story that we never got, that we should have gotten. And it appears that even though you did talk with Disney over and over, they still didn't change the way that they treated your character, because when they gave you an adaptation and they talked about Finn in the comic books, they just made it worse and worse and worse. They just degraded your character over and over and over again. But somehow now it is the fans' fault. The funny thing is that no matter what John Boyega does, no matter what Daisy Ridley does, no matter what a lot of these other actors that were a part of Star Wars, no matter what they do, they will always be asked questions about Star Wars. That is the nature of the IP. Unless you go on to have careers like Harrison Ford, Oscar Isaac, who kind of broke out of that a little bit, Star Wars will always be the forefront, and questions will always be asked about that. It happens to Daisy Ridley when she was trying to promote another film. It was all about Star Wars and the future of Star Wars. I think what it looks like is that John Boyega was at one point open to playing Finn again, and now that they're bringing back Daisy Ridley, maybe if that movie ever gets made, it looks like it's just gotten removed, that he would love to be a part of it. So maybe this is his way of saying, hey, Disney, let me back in. I don't know. But again, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Please feel free to correct me and say, Jay, you misunderstood what he was trying to say. Or no, I think you're right. Or maybe you have a stronger opinion on the entire thing. I'd love to hear it. I'm open to listen, and we'll go from there. This is Jay, and we'll catch you next time.